Hey guys, and welcome to a battle featuring the legendary Hollow Slayer leading his forces of the Warriors of Chaos up against Blank and his Vampire Coast. Should be a pretty fun game as we have some very interesting picks from both builds. So let's hop in here and see what the guys do have on offer for us today. So for the Forces of Chaos, in the front line we do have Chaos Marauders, cheerfully cheap, good at chewing through zombies, and at the same time being very cost effective in most matchups in general. So I do like to see a Chaos Marauder front line. We do have a tiny pocket in the centre here, hidden in the trees, double Marauder Horsemen, who I'm sure are going to be darting forward to put some pressure upon the enemy, or trying to deal maybe with any kind of like Luther flying up over above and all that kind of good stuff. In the secondary battle line, we do have Chaos Warriors, 1, 2, 3, oh no, just a 2, as well as the Mirror Guard here, the Regiment of Renowned version, looking fabulous as always, alongside the rather disgusting looking Chaos Dwarfs and the Soul of Damnation, so a Regiment of Renowned Hell Cannon. Very risky pick coming up against the Vampire Coast, but I can see the logic. It should be able to destroy artillery crews very quickly in duels, and is unbreakable itself, so until it actually does go down completely, it should be able to fire. Let's forget how ridiculously cool a model this thing is as well. We do have a unit of Forsaken here, the ultimate damage dealers. They will chew through enemies very, very quickly. I'd quite like to see them up against Depth Guard and see how that battle does go. Relatively similar units, but I guess they do not have the kind of blood drinking regenerating abilities. In the back lines we do have the Summoners of Rage, Regiment of Renowned Dragon Ogres, and I think it's almost always worth paying the extra to get the Regiment of Renowned version. These guys are so goddamn good, as well as having a free Chain Lightning, which is of course very potent and deadly. Up in the skies we do have a Chaos Feral Manticore rolling dirty with a Chaos Sorcerer Lord also on a Manticore, and these Manticores with the armour always look really cool. We have Arcane Conduit, the Burning Head, Flaming Sword of Ruin, as well as Fireball. So yeah, probably the three kind of best spells in the lore, and a lot of people do like Cascading Firecloak as well, but Flaming Sword of Ruin is certainly my favourite. Looks like we do have an early shot coming in, and the artillery duel has started. Let's quickly run through this build. We have zombie pirate deckhand mobs with polearms dotted all the way along the front, as well as the Tide, Regiment of Renowned version, and one unit of Depth Guard. These guys are a really nice pick here. Being able to chuck them into Chaos Marauders, they will chew through them with deadly efficiency and not be, take too much damage in return as well because of that ability to kind of drink their blood and regenerate. We have some animated Hulks, which is pretty damn awesome. These guys have some crazy cool models. I'm particularly a fan of the kind of octopus looking ones, but these guys have been a bit of a meme for a while. It'll be interesting to see how they do perform here. They are anti-infantry and perhaps saturating on that front line. They can do some decent damage up against Chaos Warriors and the like. We have zombie pirate gunnery mob handgunners as well in the secondary line, once again protected by a mixture of polearms. In the back lines, we do have the mighty Queen Bess, of course, protected once more by polearm. So it's going to be a duel between the Soul of Damnations and Queen Bess, the ultimate duel. And we have Shade Wraith Gunners as well in the back lines. Up in the sky for leadership, we do have Luther Harken here, one of the most powerful lords in the game, coming in with Hornswaggle as well as Death Shriek. And of course, we do have a caster down here, Vampire Fleet Captain of Vampires. You almost always see her picked when you do see Luther, coming in with Raised Dead and Invocation of Nehek. Now, the one problem I find with Luther, one of his only problems, is the fact that he, of course, doesn't be able to wield magic. He's been cursed and all that kind of stuff, so he can't use magic anymore. So you do have to take a Vampire's cast as well to get your healing, and they are far more squishy than someone like Count Noculus. So you'll often see your opponent try to snipe out that caster early on and negate the healing, which is so key to Vampire play. Looks like a Fireball is going to be coming in, but Queen Bess takes it on the chin here, and is going to be tanking it. It looks like in the distance as well in reserve, we do have a unit of Chaos Warhounds with Poison. Looks like the Soul of Damnation is now going to retaliate as well as Luther Harken swoops forward. He has to be a little bit careful here. Marauder Horsemen can do pretty decent damage to him overall. They don't have the best throwing arc kind of going up into the skies, but the Shade Wraith Gunners have such good long range. I'm going to be counter-firing in here, and these Marauder Horsemen certainly want to pull back as they will take quite a lot of damage. Looks like the Shade Wraith Gunners were hit by the Hell Cannon, but the majority of the fire is going into Queen Bess, and whoever wins this artillery duel is going to be in a pretty decent situation, forcing the opponent to move forward. Especially if Chaos won it, it is going to be pretty bad for the undead, as they do kind of, they're quite slow and ponderous in their movements. Looks like the Chaos Sorcerer Lord is just going to be darting around. He needs to be a bit careful. That pistol of Luther does extreme damage. As a lovely shot from Queen Bess does connect with the Soul of Damnation down to a few of the Chaos Dwarves have a bit in the dust, it would seem. Oh no, they're kind of wandering back, a little bit shaken here. And they'll no doubt unleash another volley. As the Chaos Sorcerer Lord does get caught by the Shade Wraith Gunners, taking a pretty hefty amount of damage. But it is a bit tit for tat now, as Luther Harkin as well is taking more damage. But of course, he has healing. Queen Bess still going strong. Looks like the artillery crew did fall back away from the piece, but the Hell Cannon is consistently going after Queen Bess still. Perhaps he's even auto-firing that, which would be pretty elite strats. So it looks like Luther Harkin does try to get danger close to help finish off the soul itself, but he has been forced back once more by Marauder Horseman and a rather angry Manticore. Hellcan does loop up in the skies once more, and every time this Sorcerer Lord does push forward, the Shade Wraith Gunners are there to wreak bloody vengeance. Yeah, he must be auto-targeting this, I would think, because it's still going after the artillery piece. Vampires realising this are going to be hopping on top of Queen Bess and trying to get in one or two last volleys as a big old chunk as the artillery pieces pass each other mid-air. What a shot! As they do both come clambering down. It looks like the Queen Bess does manage to survive, and the Hell Cannon, the crew do manage to fall back, keeping this soul active, at least for a little while longer yet. So really prolonged engagement here, as the shots once again do go up, over and arcing down, and Queen Bess is looking to win the engagement so far. Marauder Horsemen have been forced back by the Shade Wraith Gunners. Great synergy with them and Luther, managing to put a decent amount of pressure on, really winning this skirmish game, doing some fantastic damage to the Chaos Sorcerer Lord, as well as forcing off one of the Marauder Horsemen, but I'm sure they will be back. Shade Wraith Gunners only up to 11 kills, but good HP damage done throughout so far. So we can see the flying beasties are circling each other, and Luther Harkin is very powerful, but double single entities coming on you with some Marauder Horseman support would be very dangerous. Looks like we are going to see a Death Shriek coming down on top of the Soul of Damnation, destroying it in a ball of fire as well. So it looks like the Forces of Chaos are going to have to push forward, but a fireball is flung from the hands of the Chaos Sorcerer Lord. It looks like Queen Bess also went down in that engagement, so pretty tit for tat there. Chaos Warhounds did manage to push into the back lines. Looks like they're going to try to circle the Vampire Fleet Captains perhaps, but she's a decent combatant, so actually going to roll past her at this point. But they are there lurking in the wings. Up in the skies, Luther Harkin has done really good damage on the Chaos Sorcerer Lord, and he can of course fire his pistol on the move, so that Manticore is certainly going to have to come in here and support where possible. He needs to drive Luther Harkin back, and it looks like the Horsemen are on the march now, trying to dart over here to help assist in this situation. Looks like we're perhaps going to get another fireball coming in here. No, it looks like the Chaos Sorcerer Lord instead, sorry there, did pop Arcane Conduit and fall back. Shade Wraith Gunner is going to be unleashing some shots once again into him, down to 1,500 health as the Forces of Chaos do push forward. Looks like they are going to realign as well. Chaos Sorcerer Lord are going to have to fall all the way back here to escape this huge amount of burst damage coming in. Chaos Warhounds of Poison are going to hop on top of Queen Bess here just to finish her off and help push that balance of power even more in their favour. No doubt before she'll hop on top of some handgunners. And it looks like Luther Harkin is going to dart back on top of the Chaos Marauders, trying to help out in this front line. As Depth Guard try to charge in on Chaos Marauders, but a lovely kind of bait and switch as they do fall back, only to be clobbered by the Summoners of Rage, or at least they fall, but it looks like they're actually going to be darting and changing their mind, trying to put pressure on Luther Harkin, which wouldn't be a bad idea at all, as Chaos Ferromanticore does swoop in as well. However, there is a ton of missile pressure coming in now over here as well. Manticore may well soon rampage. Chaos Marauders are going to be pushing forward. It looks like Shade Wraith Gunners have been a little bit compromised here, as Chaos Warhounds with Flaming Sword of Ruin do pop in. Flaming Sword of Ruin going to be giving these guys magic damage, which means they're allowed to be able to pull apart the Shade Wraith Gunners really quite effectively, although Depth Guard are here as well. Big Burning Head does go down the line, absolutely wrecking this unit of polearms and doing some decent damage to the animated Hulk, so going toe-to-toe with the Forsaken here. A target that's pretty good for them overall. They should be able to do some pretty decent clobbering work, especially if saturated in with other troops. And yeah, it's cool to see the animated Hulks in action, swinging their big arms there in kind of windmill fashion. It looks like they are going to break and push back the Forsaken, at least for now. However, they have taken a ridiculous amount of damage themselves. In the centre pocket here, it looks like we did have a big indication of Mahek going down, an upgraded version, allowing these animated Hulks to stay in combat a little while longer, as well as healing up Luther Harkin. Lovely chain lightning coming down in the back here on top of the handgunners, pulling these guys apart, doing some good damage all round. And Summoners of Rage have been some world beaters so far, pushing back on Luther Harkin and helping finish off these animated hulks here, up to 42 kills, which is pretty impressive stuff. The backline is relatively secure at the moment, however, for the Vampirates, who are lacing in bullet after bullet into these key targets, helping them to drag down these Summoners and the like, doing some really decent damage, but the front line is starting to crumble. The reserve polearms are being pushed forward now into dangerous territory. Depth Guard are being a little bit skirmished here by the Horsemen. They need to get back into combat and really kind of pull apart Chaos Warriors, Marauders and the like to get their best value. Some animated hulks as well. Looks like they did overextend before kind of just sitting here. Going to be taking a little bit of damage. Looks like the Summoners of Rage might come and finish them off, but they do get active once more. They won't idle for long. Coming in and clobbering the Forsaken, who really have not had a good day at all, being kind of devoured by these scary beasts. Luther Harkin has been healed up to a relatively decent amount. He is currently fighting Miragard, trying to protect his back line, but he needs to get up in the air and kind of really assassinate those key targets where possible. Depth Guard doing a fantastic job as always in the centre pocket. 111 kills, really the perfect unit to chew apart Chaos Marauders. The last of the animated hulks look to be going down here, going down in style though, clobbering some Chaos Warriors. The Marauder Horsemen getting in those last javelins and axes and managing to pull down the rather squishy beast. They don't have the most armour in the world. It looks like the Chaos Pheromone score has been broken up and running for the hills, but has done a decent job all round so far. It looks like most of the leadership is off the field as well, apart from Luther Harkin at this point, which does bode well for the Vampirates, but they are kind of swarmed by a decent amount here of Chaos Warriors. The back line is in complete ruckus as the Mirror Guard up to 121 kills, trying to not let the Depth Guard kind of get the better of them here. Chaos Warriors pushing in as well, and there's still 7 Summoners of Rage, which is a big threat. At this point, Luther probably wants to use his pistol to finish off the Manticore as well as the Summoners of Rage, but at that it might be a little bit too little too late, as his forces are kind of crumbling around him, both metaphorically and literally here. Depth Guard, 137 kills, desperately trying to stay in combat to kind of keep their health up and active, but they are getting some rather nasty javelins in the back by the Marauder Horsemen. They've been doing a pretty good job all game really, kind of taking down some key threats, doing consistent damage as well. Luther Harkin does dive in an attempt to assassinate the Summoners of Rage with a Hornswaggle popped on top of them. However, the Chaos Pheromone score is here to help kind of deal some damage back, though it looks like it is indeed going to be forced off. The Mirror Guard rallying to the Summoners, who have managed to escape relatively unscathed from that Hornswaggle, being able to pull back, surround Luther, and I believe this is where he will probably be dragged into the murky depths here of hell itself. Polearms are fighting, but they're not going to be able to beat Chaos Marauders at all. It looks like Depth Guard have now completely gone down. It is indeed Luther Harkin versus the world for the most part, at least in the main fight, as the Summoners of Rage do come back in with a vengeance after managing to shake off that Hornswaggle. Luther is starting to break him. Army losses is getting dangerously close as he is chased and hounded out of the good lands of the honest Chaos folk, who it's kind of interesting to see these two forces fight each other, because I don't really know what they'd be fighting over here. They both just kind of want madness. And maybe, I suppose, Luther is kind of seeking a holy artifact that Chaos Sorcerer Lord did indeed own. Summoners Rage have been forced back here though, and it looks like a bit of a terror rout is going down as Chaos Marauders do indeed fall back, and Luther Harkin is certainly given as good as he gets. But the Mirror Guard do have that immune to psychology, and they're going to be fighting for a very, very long time here, and they're pretty elite warriors, and with the sheer weight of numbers perhaps will be able to pull down Harkin himself. But he is still scrapping here, up to 67 kills, but he's not the best clearer of chaff. He is pretty good at it, but he's definitely more of an assassin character, at least in my mind. Summoners of Rage are now coming in to get a lovely rear charge. Having these guys back is just huge, as they can still do some massive damage despite their low HP pool. Luther certainly also trying to focus those guys down if he can. I mean, he does also do poison, which is pretty useful, but the Summoners of Rage coming in here with their full might and wielding those mighty hammers there of lightning and kind of big maces and the like, do manage to clobber Luther Harkin to an early grave. It looks like that is going to be a Pyrrhic victory for the Warriors of Chaos. Very interesting tactical game, especially early on, with Queen Bess and the Hell Cannon going toe to toe. Still think the Hell Cannon is a very risky pick, but it certainly managed to pull off here. Nice plate as well, kind of trying to push back with the Marauder Horseman. Luther Harkin trying to get in there and snipe, and he certainly did a good job neutering the effectiveness of the Chaos Sorcerer Lord. Imagine to finish off with pistol shots and all the good stuff. However, the one drawback of Luther here is the Vampire Fleet Captain, who I believe did get assassinated relatively early on by the Feral Manticore. I kind of saw on the edge of my vision she was getting in a little bit of trouble there. Animated Hulks, the meme Dream, trying to keep it alive here for the Vampire Coast. And they did okay. One unit managed to kind of bottle in and destroy the unit of Forsaken. But the other unit did kind of just get pulled apart. And they don't have the best armor, which is kind of a big problem when you're such a large pincushion. And the Marauder Horsemen simply managed to put them in their place. MVPs, however, for the Vampire Coast, probably the Shade Wraith Gunners, doing massive damage onto that Chaos Sorcerer Lord and keeping the Marauder Horsemen at bay. Really nice early skirmish phase. As for the Warriors of Chaos, it probably goes to the Mirror Guard. All these Summoners of Rage, just by pushing through that front line, being such a sticky unit, and especially the Mirror Guard in the late game, having that immune to psychology and kind of keeping the Warriors of Chaos together, coherent, and allowing them to drag down Luther in the end game. Massive shout out to Hollow Slayer for sending this one in via my Discord. If you do want to see your replays up on the channel, that is the place to do it. There's a link down below in the description, as well as other links on how you can support the channel. Anyway guys, hope you did enjoy. If you did, please do consider giving the video a big old thumbs up. It helps push it out to more people, and feel free to subscribe for more Total War Warhammer content. Until next time guys, peace, and as always, stay awesome.